just how I'm doing things at this time. So I've obviously got a computer here, obviously running Ableton Live, and we'll go into that in a bit. And then got some controllers here, some MIDI controllers, and then the talk box. So you can hopefully see this. So you can see on this channel, talk box, and that's a MIDI channel with a synth, and you can see here it's externally routed to channel 3. So that's the only reason I have this actually, is for the talk box, because I can't externally route this synth any other way. So it's coming out of this audio interface and into the talk box. And you can see, if I play a note on this keyboard, you can see the synth doing its thing. There's no sound at the moment because it's coming out here. And this is what it sounds like. Like a wasp. And then the idea is that you filter it with your mouth. So that's how it works basically. So that's the talk box thing, and then there's I've got a pitch bend on it. And then vibrato. You can see that doing something on the synth there. So that's kind of it, and that's why I've got this. That's what this controller is for. It's for the talk box, essentially. And there's some knobs up here that are assigned to effects. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And then I've got this trigger finger here. You can just about see that. So that's how I launch all my clips. If I go into the MIDI mode here, you can see all these scenes assigned to these pads. And then none of the clips have been launched with quantization. It's all free. There's no quantization on the launching of the clips. And the reason, there's loads of reasons I guess I do that at the moment. And one is that a bit of background about me is, I started playing the drums as a kid, started playing in bands, picked up guitars and basses and things like that. So I'm used to kind of hitting things and having an instant kind of sound coming from it, So, that's important to me to have that. And also I used to do a lot of DJing as well, so I want to be able to, stop something, and then bring it back whenever I want, kind of like a DJ can a bit. So yeah, that's one reason why I don't have any quantization when I'm launching things. And again, like coming from the background that I've come from, when I perform live, I want to feel like I'm performing live. I want to feel like I'm walking a bit of a tightrope. So when I execute things better some days, it gives me more satisfaction. If it's all quantized, then you've got a bit more of a safety net, and it's not wrong or right. It's just at the moment I quite like having a bit of a challenge, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of why I don't have any quantization on these clips, and it's also so that when, like going back to the kind of DJ thing, so when I perform live, say if there's a track that I'm playing, and say I just want to jump to another track. I can do that whenever I want. I could do kind of it means it's more instantaneous. Because like what I was finding is if when I launched a track, you know, if it was, because also there's so many tempos on my tracks, you know, so I'm not doing much blending. It's all kind of chop it up and just kind of slam in tracks and stuff. And so, like, if you're doing that, you don't really want it quantized. I don't anyway. I want to just go and then go with a track. You know, just have that ability. So that's kind of how I'm launching the clips, really. And if we go into more detail about how this is set up, again, like the DJ influence is here, because like you can see I've tried to create like kind of a left turntable and a right turntable. I think that's just how I get my mind around it a bit. You can see in the bottom right corner, the crossfader here, I've got that assigned. I actually never use that, I don't even know why I've got that set up. Maybe I will at one point. But yeah, it's kind of set up so I've got a left and a right turntable here, and you can see all this like madness here with loads of clips and stuff. There's one that's particularly ridiculous, like all this. That was just a tune I was working on, and just dragged it all into this session. Copy and pasted it, and it worked. And I was like, yes, I'll keep it there. A lot of this I don't even remember. I just set it up, and then if I get it working the way I want it to, I just leave it. And only if there's a problem I go back to it. And like the way I've got it set up, I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. And if someone can tell me, then please do. Because I've got all this, empty clips here. Because again, when I'm jumping from tracks to tracks, you know, by launching it on the scenes here on the master, you get, you know, certain sounds that overlap into others, and which was kind of weird. I'm not surprised by that. So I've got all these empty clips here that are just kind of used as silencers, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of how the clips are set up. And then there's a few random things like effects and stuff. Yeah, that's about it for the setup. And then on each channel I've got like a kind of some chains here, loads of effects. You know, all the macro stuff, that's all assigned, and same on the right. And what that allows me to do is, see, this is all work in progress as well. I don't consider this to be like, oh, I've hit some pinnacle. It's not. It's just kind of how I'm working with it at the moment. And you know, it allows me. I rarely ever do this, but it allows me to kind of freestyle a bit. So, for example, I could take these three sounds, and you can see how they're being triggered. So it's just kind of scenes, and they're just sort of parts of this track. There's just little parts of that track, and if I take those, I can kind of just freestyle with them. And this is just something I've been just trying to develop, and it helps me. It gives me ideas for making music with live. So, for example, I don't know, with the effects that I've got set up, this is to show you the effects and what you can create with it. And I'll go into the effects in a bit. But just using those three sounds, we can kind of start getting some freestyle madness. yeah. Anyway, that's not going to be released. But I don't know. That was just to show you kind of what I've got. And that's kind of helped by what I've got on the master channel. So I've got a lot of beat repeats here. And what's cool about the beat repeat is that it's like a sampler. So you can just take tiny little clips, and so even just with those sounds, I could sort of capture that. Start applying effects to it. So that's something that might sound really weird and like nerdy, but that I like to have that ability. So if I'm using a sound with a bit more character to it, and I use the effects that I've got going, it starts becoming much more musical. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to get. So like, if I'm playing live, I can kind of jam a bit and make something as I'm going along, and try and tailor it to the vibe of the room. So that's kind of the idea. And one thing that I didn't explain actually was that you see my cursor here. If I put that on the top left, on the tempo, I've got a little speed dial feature on the Nocturn, the Novation keyboard, and I can just control that. And I use that quite a bit. So usually when I perform, I don't have the computer on display. It's just like I actually try and put it on the floor or something. So all you see, the emphasis is just on that. I'm trying to get as far as away from the email checking vibe. And so yeah, I just keep my mouse on that, my cursor on that. And so I can always control the tempo a bit, and yeah, I love doing that. So if I'm like, yeah, I use that quite a lot as well, just to just provide interludes between tracks, or just kind of create loads of noise, because I like that as well. To just like get something going, grinding down, and that, and just really mash things up, and then like slam in with a track. So yeah, that's kind of my approach to things, and yeah, I think that's kind of an overview of what I use and how I use it. So I guess I'll perform some tracks for you, and you can kind of, now you know what I'm doing, maybe it might be more interesting, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do some tracks.